Nottingham Forest sack their manager, with the Aussie GOAT battling Mourinho for the vacant job. Meanwhile, Ten Hag's replacement's been confirmed, and today I feel Italian. This is the Mac Daily. The first managerial sacking of the Premier League is here, as Nuno Espirito has been shown the exit door at Nottingham Forest. Now, from the outside looking in, this may come across as a baffling decision. After all, in his first season in charge, Nuno guided Forest to their best league finish in 30 years, restoring this former powerhouse club back to the European stage. On the pitch, results were incredible, and it's hardly been a terrible start to the 25-26 season either. But beneath the surface, tension had been brewing for quite some time between Nuno, Mr. Marinakis, and their newly appointed global head of football, Edu Gaspar. Back in August, Nuno criticized the club's summer recruitment, having only signed Dan Ndoye, Igor Jesus, Jair Cunha, and Angus Gunn at the time. A week later, Nuno publicly revealed his relationship with owner Marinakis has changed and that it's not so close. That same day, separate news broke of a major fallout between Nuno and head of football Edu, and that the damage was potentially irreparable. 1 week later, Marinakis then spoke out in support of Nuno, stating, "We have a solid relationship," and they proceeded to add a further 9 recruits. It appeared as though the issue was publicly settled, but that clearly wasn't the case, with Nuno now departing the club less than 2 weeks later. For many Forest fans, this was the best manager they'd had in their lifetime, so they'll be bitterly disappointed with the outcome. But the real question that needs answering is who steps in. Ange Postecoglou was linked with the Forest job before Nuno was even sacked, but now that the position is vacant, he's the early frontrunner for the job. Marinakis is clearly a huge admirer of the Greek Aussie. After all, he is the reigning champion of the competition Forest are competing in this season. Marinakis even handed him an award for becoming the first Greek manager to win the Europa League. However, this hypothetical appointment wouldn't be without its risks. The stylistic differences between Nuno's explosive counter-attacking team and Ange ball are significant. It'd be a controversial appointment. Speaking of which, Jose Mourinho has also been linked. Could you imagine the drama of a Mourinho-Marinakis-led club? I'm always down for the special one returning to the Prem, but this might be too much chaos. Mourinho literally just got sacked for falling out with Fenerbahce's owner. The other names mentioned are Marco Silva and Brendan Rodgers. Regardless though, mad props to Nuno. A disappointing ending to an otherwise spectacular managerial spell. Now moving to World Cup qualifying drama, and there was one particularly stunning result overnight. More on that one later, but focusing on Group B, and Sweden have been stunned at the hands of 95th ranked Kosovo 2-0, with Premier League record signing Alexander Isak unable to make an impact off the bench in his first outing for the 25-26 season. I can't see this man hitting the ground running at Liverpool, as he is so unfit right now. But beyond Isak, this result is a real concern for Sweden. This squad is valued at over 440 million euros, yet were completely outclassed by Kosovo in all facets. Meanwhile, Switzerland took full control of Group B with a dominant victory over Slovenia. Breel Embolo got on the score sheet once again. I swear this guy just spawns in every international break and proceeds to cook. In Group C, Scotland prevailed over Belarus, and can I just say, that midfield diamond of Billy Gilmour as a deep-lying playmaker, McGinn and Ferguson in central midfield, and McTominay in the 10, that is genuinely elite. Meanwhile, Greece were dealt a devastating blow, a 3-0 defeat at home to Denmark. This upcoming Greek generation looks immensely promising, but they were obliterated by the experienced Danes. Man United fans may want to look away though. Dorgu missed an open goal, only for Napoli's new striker Rasmus Højlund to bury it from close range. And in Group L, Croatia dominated Montenegro. They look a shoo-in to qualify. Moving to Africa, and Tunisia have booked their spot to the World Cup finals thanks to a 94th minute match winner. What's even more impressive is that this nation qualified without conceding a single goal in their 8 matches played. And in CONCACAF, Suriname secured a big win in El Salvador to go top of Group A, whilst Panama and Guatemala settle for a point. Moving to Bundesliga news, and Ten Hag's replacement has officially been announced in Gattuso Hjulmand on a 2-year deal, and I'm slightly unsure what to think here. Granted, anything seems better than Ten Hag's leadership at this point, but Hjulmand hasn't coached at the club level in 6 years, and his only previous experience in the Bundesliga came via a short spell at Mainz as the successor to Thomas Tuchel. He only lasted 7 months in that job before being sacked, having won just 5 out of 24 games. Although, this was over a decade ago. In the last 4 years, he's been at the helm of Denmark's national team, and it's been a mixed bag. He started terrifically, guiding the Danes to a semi-final appearance at Euro 2020, but it all went downhill from there. Granted, there's no shame in losing a World Cup match against a powerhouse nation. I'm of course referring to Australia, but Denmark then somewhat under-delivered at Euro 2024. So it's difficult to gauge how his ideas will translate to this Leverkusen side. We know he loves a back three with wingbacks, so Grimaldo and new signing Vasquez may be well suited to this coach, but my expectations aren't too high at this stage. However, former Leverkusen coach Xabi Alonso has hit the ground running this season at Madrid, recognized as La Liga's coach of the month. Now, it is important to note that he's only played Osasuna and Mallorca at home alongside newly promoted Oviedo away. Anything less than 3 wins would have been worthy of criticism. However, Madrid's defense has noticeably improved. Dean Haugen looks an unbelievable talent. Alvaro Carreras has also hit the ground running. Real Madrid have only conceded 1 big chance in 3 games this season, as opposed to Barcelona's 12. The entertainment factor is still lacking with Los Blancos, but the tactical improvements post-Ancelotti are clear as day. And finally, we're going to talk about that game, Italy v Israel. Now, focusing on Gattuso's Italy, in the words of the great man, sometimes may be good, sometimes may be shit. Going forward, wow, I guess Italy can score goals after all. Moise Kean's firing, Retegui with 5 goal involvements in his last 2 outings, even Raspadori's getting amongst it. The only problem is that this country is so far removed from their Catenaccio days, they cannot defend at all, and there is no coherent structure being implemented. Against good opposition, they're going to be obliterated. I don't see them qualifying ahead of Norway right now. Shifting gears to Israel, and yeah, I'm not going to talk casually about a state that is actively committing genocide against the Palestinian people, a conclusion that was backed up just 6 days ago via the International Association of Genocide Scholars, alongside hundreds of NGOs and human rights groups throughout the world. But DMAC, let's keep politics out of football. Focus on the football. I'm sorry, but were you unaware that at least 421 footballers have been murdered by Israel in the last 2 years, including 123 children, alongside Suleiman Al-Obeid, the Palestinian Pele, a national treasure? And to those who foolishly suggest, well, it's not FIFA or UEFA's responsibility to intervene in political matters, do you not recall Russia's complete invasion of Ukraine in 2022? It took 4 days for these institutions to take decisive action banning Russia. But when Israel commits systematic crimes against humanity for 23 months straight, FIFA and UEFA's silence is deafening. The best they can do is put up a vague banner condemning child murder whilst tokenizing Palestinian children in a UEFA medal ceremony. In fact, they actively punish teams who criticize Israel's actions. The hypocrisy is beyond ridiculous. It is utterly repulsive that Israel are allowed to compete on the world stage in football in the midst of such horrific violence being live streamed to our phones every single day. In a just world, Israel would be banned from international and club football until the genocide stops. That should be the bare minimum. But until that day comes, best believe I will continue using my platform, my voice, to condemn FIFA, UEFA for allowing Israel to launder their reputation through the beautiful game. It's an insult to football. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching DMAC Daily. See you tomorrow.